We're going to take a peek at this Ergin finishing machine. It's got dual functions, but for starters, we're going to talk about how are we going to run this through and finish it. So this rug has been cleaned. It's ready for its last step. So as we look at our machine, we need to set it up. We're going to set our distance travel. There are 3 different options, 3, 6, and 9. This is closer to a 6, 7 by 9, 7 by 10. So we're going to use the 6 travel. We got everything set up on our air pressures and set up to return, and we're ready to go. So as soon as we press start, what's going to happen is this rug's going to feed through under this roller, which will time a sensor to start this brush. This brush is going to agitate the fiber or the pile of this rug, and then it's going to be hit with this linear vacuum. Once that rug passes that linear vacuum, which we'll show you from a different angle, the sensor on the other side is going to tell it to stop, and then it's going to send the rug back this way. So after the rug gets vacuumed a second time, this roller right here is designed to brush this pile down and set it. So once this rug returns out of this machine, it's ready to go in the bin and ready to be taken back to the customer. Let's do it. So the rug has entered the machine. It's past the sensor, which is going to time it. As soon as the front of that rug gets to that brush, you'll hear the brush engage. There we have it. You also heard the linear vacuum fire up. So the vacuum has dropped at this point and is starting to go back and forth and vacuum the rug. There are 2 things happening right now. This brush, which is spinning, that'll eventually set the pile, is vacuuming up any loose fibers that it pulls off of it. And the linear vacuum that's going back and forth is vacuuming up and putting any loose fibers in the vacuum collection bag on top of the carriage. So as you can see, the rug has made it to the end. The vacuum has stopped. And as soon as that rug hits that sensor, which it just did, the conveyor bed reverses. And shortly, the linear vacuum is going to pick back up and drop down. And start vacuuming the rug again. You'll see it's getting ready to come out the front here. So this brush has just dropped down and engaged, and it's now brushing this pile downward. We're going to go ahead and start the roll. Have some additional air hoses should we need to blow any other fuzzies off. And you can see the rug's coming out just like a person had brushed all the pile down and set it to make it ready for delivery or pickup. So the vacuum cycle just completed on the linear vacuum and it's raised up. The only thing left moving is our cylindrical brush, finishing brushing down the pile. Couple ropes, we'll tie it up and it's ready for the bin. This machine has several different functions. It was originally designed as a finishing machine to be able to run a rug through, have it vacuum any of the loose fuzzes off of it, have the cylindrical brush set the pile, and have the rug come back out the front of the machine and it'll auto roll it up so it's ready to be put away for the customer to pick it up or for us to deliver it. As we started using this machine here at Robert Mann's facility, he has decided that it also shows great use for pre-vacuuming. So demonstrating on how we can do that, this machine has the capability to take it and run straight through and come out the back end, and we can auto roll it on the back end and put it on a cart. So essentially what this machine's doing is doing all your pre-vacuuming for things that you might not want to run through the tumble duster, but you don't want to take the time to have a person manipulate, go down and then lift it back up and use a vacuum or a pile lifter on it. So this will do the work for you. The other thing that this has the capability, and we've shown great success with, is to run this through upside down as a pre-vac, especially for rugs that have lots of dog hair. So we'll run this through upside down, send it all the way through and back just like we would in the finishing mode. And what that's doing is that cylindrical brush is pulling some of that dog hair up and loosening it up, and that linear vacuum is going back and forth, taking care of that dog hair. And then it's going to come back and do it again. So essentially that's getting done twice on the back. Once that comes back out, we're going to flip that over and do the same thing on the face. So we'll hit that on the face again and bring it back out, and instead of finishing that rug will actually be ready to go to your cleaning cart. Let's talk about the controls on the Ergin Deluxe Finishing Machine. So starting from left to right, you have your basic start button and you have your bed reverse. You have your bed speed, which is currently set on 2, and somewhere north or south of that is what we're using here at this particular facility. So we have this rheostat switch here that you turn to adjust the air pressure with this gauge, and that adjusts the downward pressure on this cylindrical brush. So if you have a thicker rug, obviously less pressure. If you have a thinner rug, you might want to put more pressure on it to push down on it. You have your emergency stop, which has several different functions. Anytime you feel that you need to stop this machine mid-program, if you hold this button down for 5 seconds, then you can press start again and it'll reset the program. Let's move on to our next rheostat switch that will adjust the pressure for the linear vacuum. So same concept as we had with our cylindrical brush. I can increase the pressure if I've got a thinner rug and I want to put more downward pressure on our linear vac carriage, or I can decrease it by turning it counterclockwise if I've got a thicker rug and I want to have less pressure. I do have a visual gauge right here. So I've got this PSI gauge that will tell me. And then I've got a reference chart that comes with this machine that'll tell you where those adjustments go on average, but as with any machine, it comes with experience and feel on what you're comfortable with. So over here, this adjusts the width and travel of our linear vacuum carriage. So all of our rugs, we want to make sure that they're centered up on this center sensor right here. And then this will push the carriage about 3 feet. This will push the carriage like 6 or 7 feet, and this pushes the carriage. It'll run the entire width of the deck. So moving over here, This switch is if you have a rug that has longer fringe on it or a rug that has short fringe or no fringe. And right now I have this on flat. What it's going to tell the machine to do is when to drop that carriage. So we don't want to drop that carriage on a bunch of fringe and suck it up in the linear vacuum. So it'll tell that rug to go past, to take that linear carriage up before it hits the fringe, and then once that fringe comes back and passes it, it'll drop back down in fringe mode. Other than that, instead of long fringe, you run most of this on flat mode. And our last switch here just tells us if we want the rug to come back and return, or if I switch it here, it'll just be a throughput machine. So you have the option if you're just going to pre-vacuum a cart full of rugs and you're not worried about doing the backs and fronts, you can just run these straight on through and take them off on a cart on the other end. On finishing, all the time this switch is going to be off to the right, so it sends the rug back and comes back out to you. So the owner of this particular machine wanted a couple air lines installed. So, our airline hookup is on the right side of the machine. We just added 2 air hoses out. We've got a shorter hose to tuck it up and keep it out of the way, but these do have really good travel. I could take this all the way to the other side of the machine if necessary. And then we've just been hanging them straight up. Let's take a look at another function of the Ergin Deluxe Finishing Machine. We're going to use this to pre-vacuum a rug that's full of fuzz and dog hair on the face and the back. If you take a closer look at the back, you can really see all of this fuzz that we want to get off. And instead of doing it manually, we're going to use this machine to do it for us. So here we go. We're going to run this through the full cycle, so we're vacuuming it twice. So this cylindrical brush is going to start firing up here, and it'll start loosening that pet hair, and then our linear vacuum will take it off. And then once it runs all the way through and hits the sensor for the stopping point, we're going to repeat that process and show you what the results are on the other end. So you can see the majority of that loose fuzz and pet hair is gone. So now that the machine has performed its functions on the back, we want to repeat that on the face. We're going to do so by flipping over and repeating the process on the face. And there you have it, front and back, and it's ready for cleaning.
So